I can hear you through the screen. That's right. You're saying, oh my god, how do I use adjectives in Norwegian? Don't worry, Simple Norwegian is here to save the day. Alright, so it's time to learn just a little bit more grammar, this time adjectives. I'm going to try and make this pretty detailed, so you'll learn a lot about adjectives in this one single video. Not everything, but quite a bit. So the way you write an adjective depends on both the gender and whether it's a singular or plural noun that you are describing. Let's start with male and female nouns, which are declined in the exact same way. And we're first going to talk about a big car, which is en stor bil. Den store bilen, store biler, de store bilene. Hopefully you remember what you learned about the articles in the episode number 6, and you understand that this means the big car, big cars, and the big cars. And yeah, this is how you see adjectives declined for male nouns. And we're going to move on to female nouns, and here we have an example. Ei pen jente, den pene jenta, pene jenter, de pene jentene. So as you can see, it declines the exact same way. Luckily for you. Once again, when it comes to the difference between female and male, there's pretty much no difference here, which is nice. Oh, and by the way, this means a pretty girl, the pretty girl, pretty girls, and the pretty girls. For neutral nouns, there's one small difference. The singular indefinite form gets a T at the end. So in this example, we have ett fint brev, det fine brevet, fine brev, de fine brevene. And this means, by the way, a nice letter. Fint means pretty, but it can also mean nice or just fine. So yeah, as you can see, the only difference from the male and female adjective forms is that here we have a T at the end of the singular indefinite form. So to emphasize the difference, I have an example here. Det var ett fint hus med en fin farge. So it's the same adjective in the same form for the different nouns, but for the neutral one, it becomes fint, but for the male noun, farge, it becomes fin. Farge means color, by the way. So there are some exceptions to these adjectives that get a T at the end for neutral nouns. And those are adjectives that end with a T, with a double T, with ET, with IG, or SK. And also some adjectives that end with a D. Some examples of these are the adjectives lat, which means lazy, kjedelig, which means boring, and norsk, which means Norwegian, and glad, which means happy. So you'll never see these with a T at the end. That's just plain wrong, and it sounds super weird in Norwegian. Some adjectives, although they change according to the same formula as what we've already learned in this lesson so far, they kind of become shorter in their plural and singular definite forms. And the example I'm going to show you here is vakker. Vakker means beautiful, and here I'm going to show you et vakkert hus, det vakre huset, de vakre husene, vakre hus. So as you can see, it sort of collapses, and this is true for all adjectives that end with an ER, EL, or EN. If the adjective has two of the same consonant at the end of the word, for example, the adjective trygg, which means safe, the adjective loses one of its consonants when used with a neutral noun. Essentially, the T that is added replaces one of the G's in this particular example. Because as you might have noticed in the Norwegian language, we really don't like having 3 consonants in a row. So, en trygg plass becomes et trygt hus for a neutral noun. Some adjectives don't change at all based on the gender or whether it's singular or plural, And this includes every single adjective that ends with an E, such as stille, which means quiet, or sakte, which means slow. And also some adjectives that end with S, double T, O, and A also don't change. So we're almost done, but I want to cover this one last thing, and that is there's a small difference in the forms when you use the adjectives in another way. When you say that the noun is a certain adjective rather than like adjective noun. So for male and female, this is en bil er stor. Bilen er stor. Biler er store. Bilene er store. And for neutral, it's et brev er fint. Brevet er fint. Brev er fine. Brevene er fine. So as you can tell, the plural form doesn't change from earlier, but the singular definite form here becomes just like the singular indefinite form. And so this is something to note when you use the adjective like before versus after the noun. Alright, so that was it for the grammar part of this video, and I want to end this video by teaching you some very useful adjectives, and these are emphasis adjectives. Basically the type of adjective that you can put in front of almost anything just to emphasize it. Very is veldig. Veldig. Incredibly is utrolig. Utrolig. Kjempe. Kjempe. Kjempe kind of means like giant, but you can use it as an emphasis word. So you can say like kjempekult. That means really cool. And really is skikkelig. Skikkelig. Another word that means really is virkelig. Virkelig. And properly is ordentlig. And this word, there's a weird pronunciation of this word. It's sort of like ordentlig. Like, it's kind of like collapsed on itself. You don't say ordentlig, although you could, but it's ordentlig. Innmari. This is an interesting word. It just means very. And then we have drit and dritt. These are kind of naughty. I wouldn't say bad or anything, but it literally means shit. So you can say something is shitty something, and it's used as a way to emphasize it. So if you say det er dritkult, that means it's really cool, even though you're saying it's shit cool. And what do we have here? It's a bonus word, and the word is jævlig. Jævlig. So this is actually a swear word, and it's used either to describe something that is miserable, like det var helt jævlig, means it was just completely miserable, or it's used as an emphasis adjective like det var jævlig kult, which means it was really cool. One thing I want to say about Norwegian swear words is that they're not as strong as in, for example, English. I feel like in America and certain other countries, people have this massive fear for swear words, which results in them being stronger. But in Norway, they're actually kind of mild. You see them used on news sites without any issues. I've even had teachers that used them, like used the worst swear words, and nobody cared. Of course, you don't want to be running around in Norway swearing all the time, but just know that they aren't really that strong in Norwegian. Also, a little fun fact, the word jævlig likely comes from the word jævel, which means devil. It comes from the Norwegian word djevel. So basically what you're saying is like devilish. Norway used to be a very Christian country back in the day, so you can understand how this sort of became a swear word. The next video will not contain any grammar, and it will be about colors and fruit, so it's going to be a very light and happy subject, and I think you'll enjoy it.